Mustelids come in all shapes and sizes, but one thing all of them have in common is their batshit crazy mindset. And in today's video, in no specific order, I thought I would present to you the 8 most ferocious and toughest of them all. Let's start off this mustelid extravaganza with none other than the American badger, which literally slaps around bears on a daily basis. These troubled creatures can be located in central western Canada, through the central United States, and even into northern Mexico. And like pretty much all the animals I am going to mention in this video, these mongrels solve every problem with the same solution: violence. Now, being a bit smaller in size, this survival strategy is completely necessary, as they have to compete for resources with some pretty built creatures. And without their relentless anger management issues, they would be easy pushovers for larger predators. Time and time again, the American badger has been observed scaring off formidable opponents like cougars and, as mentioned, bears. One time, a single American badger managed to actually fend off not 1, but 2 wolverines, which is beyond impressive. They have a stocky and muscular build with massive claws designed for digging tunnels underground, where they usually stay during the daytime, as they are mostly nocturnal. Luckily for you and me, humans are not included in their diet, as the American badger predominantly eats smaller animals like rodents, reptiles, and insects. The next mustelid lives all over Europe, namely the European badger. This badger has a lot of similarities with its American cousin, but it might be a slightly calmer version, as they don't really have to deal with the same monstrous creatures the American badger has to. But believe me, this does not make it any less psychotic. The European badger is so aggressive that farmers and hunters back in the day would put coal in their boots, as this unhinged creature would not stop biting until it heard the bones crushing between its jaws. Now, this might be slightly exaggerated, but it has to have come from somewhere. And you better not look at one of these dudes the wrong way, as you could very quickly end up with a very revengeful bastard following you home. In addition to their anger issues, they are also known to be incredibly resilient, as they are known to just walk off absolute haymakers from cars on the highway. Unlike most mustelids, the European badger can live in large groups of up to 15 individuals. They are literally gang-affiliated, to say the least. Now let's move over to the Amazon jungle, where we have another mustelid, also known for running in large gangs. I am, of course, talking about the giant river otter, and as the name suggests, these war criminals are absolute units. They are actually the largest otter species, and the second largest mustelid. Just imagine 10 to 15, 6-foot-long life-cancelling machines swimming towards you. There is literally nothing you could do at that point. Even jaguars know not to mess with these demons. The diet of these unholy creatures consists of pretty much anything with a pulse. Nothing is off-limits for the river mafia, although most of the time they just eat fish like most otters do. Now, these animals aren't just cold life-cancelling machines. They are actually very playful and incredibly social animals, with a pretty complex social structure, very similar to that of the European badger, which is uncommon amongst mustelids. The fourth mustelid we are going to take a look at is the infamous ball-biting honey badger. This creature is probably the most famous of the bunch, especially if you are subscribed to my channel. They are native to Africa and some parts of Asia. The thing that made this animal so popular is the fact that it literally does not give a shit. Despite being one of the smaller predators in its habitat, they will not hesitate to go head-on into confrontations with huge life-cancelling machines like lions and hyenas. This relentless winner mindset is something I think a lot of people would like to have more of. Now, the honey badger is such a menace that some animals, like cheetah cubs, have even evolved to look like them. So other predators might mistake them for a honey badger and leave them be, as they really don't want the smoke. The fact that it has such an infamous reputation that other animals have spent literally millions of years trying to look like them as a form of protection is just wild to think about. Anyways, just like you, our fifth mustelid stinks like a mother. Now, the skunk is maybe not an animal you would consider tough or fearless. You might not have known that they are even part of this family of demons, but they kind of are, although they do kind of hang out on a branch of their own with the raccoon. Nonetheless, they are actually formidable creatures that not even bears play around with. Some of you might believe that they walk around stinking like shit all the time, but they actually don't. They only use their hidden stink spray when in extreme danger. This is why you see some people being able to pet them without problems. The honey badger also has a hidden stink weapon as well, although they can't really aim it and spray it at specific targets like the skunk can. It's also far less potent. A skunk can accurately hit targets over 10 feet away, and the powerful smell can be detected over 20 miles away from ground zero. One very interesting fact about skunks is that they have something called delayed implantation. They can basically delay the timing of birth by a few weeks, so the birth can coincide with more favorable environmental conditions. The next creature I was actually going to save for last, but I believe the last 2 remaining mustelids are extremely underrated, and you might not know how formidable they are. Anyways, here you have the bear-slapping Wolverine. The Wolverine, in my opinion, is the most powerful mustelid. It's not only the largest, but it also lives in some of the most inhospitable places on Earth, ranging from large parts of North America, small parts of Asia, Scandinavian countries, and even extending into Siberian territory. This means that the Wolverine has to compete for resources with massive predators like Siberian tigers, grizzly bears, wolves, and even goddamn polar bears. All this while also having to endure the most extreme weather conditions on Earth. And even though the Wolverine indeed is a scavenger, they are also known for taking down massive prey like elks and deer, sometimes displaying exceptional fighting techniques during their hunts. The Wolverine has even, allegedly, taken down a freaking polar bear on its own, more than once actually. Now, these polar bear stories should be taken with a grain of salt, as they are mostly based on anecdotal stories from Inuit natives of Alaska. Second to last, we have the Stoat, which might actually be one of the strongest mustelids pound for pound. You see, the Stoat has a very brutal method of hunting. Unlike Thor, these long and slender animals always go straight for the head. This technique allows them to take down prey 10 times their own size, which is truly remarkable, but they usually go for smaller creatures like mice. The Stoat can be found in pretty much any region with a colder climate, as represented in red on this map. This tiny creature might not have the size, nor the same tough looks as the honey badger or Wolverine, but believe me, you definitely don't want to mess with them. The last animal in today's video is the martens, which is actually a very diverse species with several members. Some of them might even rival that of the honey badger in terms of savagery. One thing that sets martens apart from most mustelids is their insane agility. They can move very quickly through trees, even being able to catch squirrels. They have also mastered the art of swimming, not to the degree of otters, but still very impressive indeed. These sigmas are mostly solitary and active during the night. Now, the most noteworthy of them all is the yellow-throated marten. Not only does it literally look like a goddamn Pokemon, but it is known to hunt and unsubscribe monkeys from life, and even deers, which is pretty crazy considering their smaller size. Before I end the video, I have one last creature that I accidentally found while finishing up the script. Meet the fisher cat, which is neither a fish nor a cat, but it's indeed another mustelid that is actually built like a fridge. They can be found across Canada and the northern United States. What makes them special is that they are one of the few animals that actively seek out and hunt flipping porcupines successfully. They're basically out here breaking ankles and using their agility to target the porcupine's face while avoiding all the pointy stuff. Not even the careless honey badger is able to pull this off without getting seriously injured by penetrated quills. Now, the fisher does eat other stuff than porcupines as well. They actually have a very diverse diet, usually consisting of smaller mammals, birds, carrion, and occasionally some soy boy fruits and mushrooms. And just like the martens, these guys are avid climbers. They can basically climb around just like squirrels, even with their large size. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, then maybe watch some of my other videos on screen, and I will see you in the next one.